Wow, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 1 came out in 2008, and I feel super old just by saying that. This game was ahead of its time for the anime fighting games. I mean, nothing else really compared to it. Burst Limit came out the same year as it, and even though Burst Limit still looks good to this day, I think that game holds up. Ninja Storm, I just felt like that was like a whole different level. And this game was the whole reason why I got a PS3. I mean, being a PS3 exclusive and just the whole debate back in the day, 360 or PS3, I went to PS3 because of fighting anime games, mainly, and fighting games, but mainly anime games. I mean, Storm 1 was a PS3 exclusive, so I was like, if I can't play Naruto on the Xbox, I don't want it. Although Xbox 360 had their own exclusive banger anime games that the PS3 never experienced, but I just felt overall though, I felt like nothing compared to Storm 1 or the Storm series. Now, the Storm series did eventually get onto Xbox and other consoles, and honestly, that sold crazy. I mean, Storm 4 alone, sold over 5.8 million copies worldwide. So, Storm series is pretty up there. But the whole reason why I got PS3 was this game. I mean, this game was amazing, like amazing graphics, still holds up to this day, and it was like a cool dynamic fighting system. I mean, you're able to like punch people and throw them into the walls, and then you're able to do wall battles or clash jutsus, and I miss stuff like that because back in the day there was like a whole bunch of beam struggles, a clash jutsus stuff, but nowadays you don't really see that as much anymore. I guess that just wear it off for a lot of developers, or just they don't care anymore. But I still miss being able to clash Chidori and Rasengan together, but sadly we can't do that anymore. Now, since this was a next gen release essentially, because this came out for the PS3, I mean, this game came out the same time another Naruto game came out, which was the Naruto Ninja Council series, I believe, too, and I'll be showing some gameplay footage of that. I mean, look at this story mode.
Are there still enemies around?
I don't know. Either way, we have to get out of here as fast as possible.
Yeah, that was something. I mean, like, to be fair though, a lot of the Storm series and even other anime games, it's normally just story mode is pretty lackluster for the most part. It's normally just fight person, cutscene, dialogue, cutscene. Oh yeah, there's a battle here, dialogue, cutscene, and rinse and repeat. And it also follows like mainly like the story of the anime for the most part. Some games don't do it, but like for the most part, most anime fighting games just follow the story. So it's just like, how many times do I have to see Naruto fights Gaara or something like that? But honestly, for Storm 1, they just did it right. I mean, you had this giant dynamic boss battles, and then the controversial now, the little quick cutscene quick events. People hate that nowadays, I feel like, but back when it was a thing, I remember when it first came out, a lot of my friends and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But the more it kept happening, like Storm 2 I think was the peak, and then after that I was just like, okay, I don't really care about this anymore. But the boss battles were at least more dynamic than most other anime fighting games. I mean, normally it's just a cutscene and then you're just fighting the character. Maybe there's like a different battle settings for the most part, but for the most part it's just all the same. So I just think they did a really cool thing. And they also had the whole open world hub thing for the Hidden Relief Village, and that was also really cool at the time. I mean, it's just not as good anymore, just because we've had other crazy open world games that have a lot more stuff in it. But this game, at least at the time, I mean, most PS3 era open world games were kind of crap. I mean, there were some games that stand out, but for the most part, a lot of them were just very bland or dead. And that's what kind of like the Hidden Leaf Village is. Like, there's not really too much stuff to do. You just walk around and do whatever, but it was very cool at the time. I remember enjoying it thoroughly. But nowadays, like, I was replaying this game again, and I was just like, I don't really care about this. Now, Storm 1, the gameplay-wise, it was a bit more different than a lot of things. Like I mentioned, the jutsu clashing, but it also didn't have a substitution gauge. So you were able to just use substitution freely, but it felt like there was never a truly place where you're able to use it. Like, you would just mash a button, and then it's like, oh, finally I got a substitution off. I just felt like it was never truly done correctly here, but they actually eventually fixed that with the following releases. They started adding like the bar, so you can only use like substitution times like 4 times or something like that. But that was amazing. I mean, Storm 2 added like online and all that, but Storm 1 for the most part didn't really have online. It was just mainly offline battles, and this was just a very cool game to have as a friends. I mean, the characters, I would say there was a pretty decent amount of characters. It's mainly all of the OG Naruto class, like the OG Naruto roster. So stuff like Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura. You know, you had other people like Shino, some characters like Itachi, and then all the Sound Village bosses. Very, very, very cool at the time. And not many games, at least to me, were just not doing it like Storm 1 at the time. But sadly, I just feel like this game is kind of like a relic of the past, because when you talk about the Storm series, no one really talks about Storm 1 too much. I hear a lot of people talk about 2 a lot, and then 3, and then especially like I guess 4 since it's like the most recent. But like 2 and 3, I feel like just overshadowed 1, and I just felt like 1 had a decent spotlight at least. It just did things. It just started everything. Like no other anime game was just doing it like Storm 1 at the time. And honestly, I just wanted to give a shout out to this game, because this game really started off an amazing subsection of the Naruto series. Like Storm series is very popular, and it's just honestly one of my favorite anime fighting games of all time. And then you'll see this happening with other new fighting games that are announced, anime fighters, where it's just like, oh, this is like Storm, essentially, like the whole Demon Slayer game that just recently came out, and then all the My Hero games. It just took inspiration of Storm series, and Storm series just honestly, and also sadly, just inspired other franchises to like just copy and paste that. And none of them have done it better than Storm, honestly. I think Demon Slayer was pretty good, but not as good as Storm. And My Hero Academia, One's Justice is pretty garbage. I don't even want to talk about those games. I mean, they're fun in its own right, but they just cannot compete with the greatness of Storm series. But anyways, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Naruto Ninja Storm 1. I mean, this game really created an amazing series, and it was like the start of something amazing. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, just like and subscribe. I'll see y'all later. Peace.